Welcome to Roll for Reddit, where I give opinions and advice based off of stuff I read from Reddit. I don't like long intros, so let's get right into the video. So I'm 27 female in a 2-year ongoing one-on-one campaign with my husband, 27 male. We're getting towards the end of this campaign and it's been absolutely fantastic. Really intense stuff, great RP, even better fights, and me being the power gamer I am, there's a huge power gap between me and any normal NPCs, such as guards and stuff. He let me power game the NPCs with the party so he could throw really hard stuff at us. The trouble is we're nearly on the soon-to-be final fight, and I'm afraid of ruining his big bad's monologue. He's got this bad habit of doing a big bad monologue, and when they're near the end of the monologue, he does something shitty to the city that causes destruction, or summons in more bullshit for us to deal with. And when I say I'd counterspell, he says, "Well, you didn't speak up sooner." And my argument always is, I don't want to interrupt your pre-prepared monologue or ruin this thing you've set up. So I've begun interrupting him, apologizing the whole time, which he takes in stride and doesn't get too upset, and counterspelling or casting to counteract the big bad stuff. And unfortunately, I've made his main big bad throughout the campaign such a chump he's retreated to the far realms, and literally sent my party a messenger that says he's not going to fight us anymore. Now there's an even shittier big bad, Elder Evil, coming, and I'm afraid of ruining this big moment for him to finally unveil this thing. Any advice? So what it seems to me is that the DM is not actively letting the players interact with their world consistently. So if the players don't interrupt the monologue, a whole bunch of bad stuff happens. And if the players do interrupt the monologue, all of the narrative weight is lost. So if you're a player who wants to stop the big bad from doing the bad thing, but also wants the narrative weight, well, you're not going to get both of those things. It seems like that's what this player's going through, where they want both, but they can't get both based off how the DM is running the game. And I feel like what the DM should be doing is, one, not have so many monologues. Monologues are a useful tool in fiction. However, they're not very useful in D&D because people will always interrupt the monologue. So a good way to get around this is, firstly, the DM should be having all of their spells for the big bad that do all these big things be at 9th level. So the player, at the very least, if they do have access to 9th level spells, they have to burn a 9th level spell slot. But if they don't, they have to roll for it, and that way the player can still have their thing where they try to do something, but it doesn't remove the weight of the situation, as well as you can still have the weight when having the bad guy be foiled from the thing that they're trying to do, which is as simple as, don't play it as a joke, play it as, well, if you're this guy who has this plan and he's been trying to enact, he's not going to act dismayed or goofy when this happens. He's going to be enraged at the party, and it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to try and kill you. DM had party robbed without any player input. Hi, I'm just looking for some outside opinions on this. Our DM had our lead party member roll on the random encounter table and then roll perception while traveling. Nothing else was mentioned and we moved along. We delivered our high-value target to their destination the following morning, and upon receiving our rewards, the DM pointed out that we would all notice that we had lost our coin pouches. Everyone was instantly confused when questioned on why, where, when. Apparently, while we were traveling, the random encounter was a group of pickpockets, and our lead party member's roll was too low to see them, and we were all pickpocketed. 3 individuals on horseback and 1 driving a cart. After some back and forth, the DM did agree that he misplayed the situation and retconned it. Did we overreact, looking for the DM to backtrack on the decision? Well, this seems pretty obvious to me. It all comes down to what people want out of D&D. I personally kind of agree with this guy. I love that feeling of not knowing if my character is going to get out of a situation. I love when I make a bad play and that comes to bite me later. I love the threat of that final death save because no one can get to that character to heal them in time, and it's 50-50 whether they're going to make it or not. I find that very thrilling. I also know that my girlfriend, who plays D&D with me, absolutely hates that. She hates when her character's at risk. It stresses her out so much that it makes her not want to play. And that means that when I DM a game, I know that for me, it would be really fun if in every encounter multiple party members are going down. But I also know that she doesn't like that. So I have to balance it in a way where I'm still putting in the thrill that I like, but I'm also not giving her a panic attack every time we play. Now, at the same time, I also agree that I have been in a lot of D&D games where I was a player who was actively making bad decisions because I wanted to see my character punished for them. And the DM kind of always let it slide and pushed me out of danger, even though I was trying to make a sacrifice play, or I was trying to intentionally do something stupid just so there would be consequences. But the DM, afraid of a player death, would just get me out of those dangerous situations. And that kind of ruined the fun for me, because once I knew that my character wasn't really at risk of death, once I knew that every encounter we got into, once I got to low health, that creature would stop attacking me, so that way I wouldn't have to risk rolling death saves. It kind of became a thing of, oh, well, I don't have to care anymore because there's no stakes. We're gonna win because the DM wants us to win. Where, yeah, there should be more people in D&D who are willing to kill player characters, or more willingly to put player characters' lives up to chance. So that way you have those moments of, oh yeah, we might not win. I find that feeling in an encounter is really fun. Boyfriend wants to DM a new game and asked me how far he could allow things of sexual nature without it being too much. This was off-putting to me. I've been playing D&D for the last 10 years on and off. I'm 30 female, he's 32 male. He has been playing longer than me, since he was a child because his dad was into it. When we met 7 years ago, we played a few games a year, and sexual things were never talked about in games. He told me recently that he wanted to create a game, so we got a group together and he's been planning the game. He asked me recently what I thought of him allowing sexual things into the game. Examples: players who want to have sex can. If a player is sexually attracted to an NPC, that player can use seduction to get the NPC to do what they want, basically anything sexual. He also asked if he did allow sexual stuff, how far he should let it go. I told him people usually aren't comfortable with things like this, and in games that I've been a part of, including the ones with him, people do not bring things like that up to begin with. He says it's hard for him to know the boundaries because his dad dad's games were always sexual. I told him it's been over 15 years since he's played those. We live in new times. I find it especially odd because our party's going to be my 2 nieces. 17 female, 20 female, he's 32 male. His sister, 31 female. Her fiance and his female cousin, 28 female. Is everyone female? I'm trying not to be weirded out by the topic, but I am. I am as well. What do you all think? Oh. First of all, I play D&D with family. I don't think I've ever had to even think about if someone wants to do something sexual, because no one considers it. I play with my cousin and my sister, and no, neither of them are gonna ask me. First of all, neither of them are going to ask me to do I don't even want to say those words. None of them are going to ask me to roleplay an NPC doing sexual acts with their PC. Let alone would I be prepared for it. I guess if one of them was leading in that direction, I would, if I'm being kind, I would go, okay, fade to black. If I'm not being kind, I'll just go, no, I'm not talking, flirting with you. Like, what the fuck? Also, he said that his dad's games were sexual, which I don't want to know what way. I'm afraid to check the comments to see if there's more to this, but... So I went and I checked. This person had no update. There was no comment giving any extra information. I feel like this one person's comment summarizes the best. Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack here, but it ain't my luggage or on my floor. Looks like I'm gonna end the video here. This is the first time I've done a more unscripted thing, and I just want to know how it went. If you want to see more of it, you can click the subscribe button. I have a more scripted video coming out on Thursday, so that's another reason to subscribe to see that come out as well. For the people who are here from that content, that's also a reminder that this isn't the new way things are going. This is just an additional thing I'm doing, so that way I have more time to work on those scripted videos while also releasing twice a week, because that's just what feels comfortable for me. And yeah, thank you so much. This is the end of the video.